What is a contradiction? Earlier we considered the nature of a paradox and described a paradox as something that looks like a contradiction at first glance, but after further examination we discover, in fact, that it's not. A true contradiction, a real contradiction, is when we affirm one thing which makes its opposite not possible, and yet we affirm the opposite. To put it in logic terms, to affirm a contradiction is to say that A, doesn't matter what you fill in for A, it's just a placeholder, that A can be A and not A at the same time and in the same relationship. That's what a contradiction is. And I hesitate to even say what one is, because the truth is that there aren't real existing contradictions. Contradictions can be spoken, but they can't actually exist. If I say I have a picture in my mind's eye, or I have constructed in my laboratory, or there exists somewhere a square circle, I'm speaking in contradiction. Because, friends, a square is a shape that has 4 straight lines, and a circle has no straight lines. A circle has each point equidistant from the center. The square does not. You can have a square turn into a circle and no longer be a square, or a circle turn into a square and no longer be a circle, but you can't have it be both at the same time and in the same relationship. Different relationships, you could argue that Charlie Brown is a square circle, that is, his head is circular shaped, and he's not very hip or very cool, and we could call him a square in that sense, but that's a different relationship. He's not a square in the same way that he's a circle. And the great thing about contradictions is they are the hallmark of falsehood. When you find yourself, when I find myself affirming both sides of a contradiction, I know that at least one side has to be wrong. I can't be right on both counts. And that, again, alerts me. It's like the epistemological equivalent of pain. Pain tells us when there's something wrong, that our body's not working properly. So the contradiction says there's something wrong in my thinking, or there's something wrong in your thinking. Well, the trouble is, too often we are unwilling to bow to the authority of logic. We think that God is bigger than logic, or we are bigger than logic, or logic is just some sort of Western hang-up, and that if we were more in tune with Eastern thought, then we could embrace both sides of a contradiction. And we end up confusing not just contradiction and paradox, but contradiction and mystery. And we'll unpack that next time when we look at what a mystery is, the third of this little 3-part series. For now, I want you to understand, this is how serious this is. Not only are contradictions not possible in our own minds, they're not possible in God's mind, which is not a sign of his weakness, but it's a sign of his power. You've heard the question, can God make a rock so big that he can't move it? And we're supposed to faint in a pile because we're stuck one way or the other, affirming something God can't do. Either he can't make such a rock, or he can't move such a rock. Well, the truth is, God can't make a rock so big he can't move it, because he's all-powerful. There is no rock imaginable or creatable that he could not move, because he's all-powerful. That question, can God make a rock so big you can't move it, is really, when translated accurately, means, can God stop being God? Or can an all-powerful being not be all-powerful? And the answer is no.